Welcome to Femographics. My name is Shelby Evans. My favorite part about attending a hockey game in person is when the Pee Wee teams play during the intermission because I know it's just the coolest day of their little lives, and cheering for them is so fun when I know it's going to really improve their experience. I was way too undisciplined to be a ballerina. Drive to Survive did make me a Formula One fan, and I did cry when Charles Leclerc won the Monaco Grand Prix, and I am a sports journalist. First, thank you for sticking around for episode 2. I appreciate that you're still here. I hope the last episode didn't come across too strongly like I was getting on a soapbox and trying to spew some conspiracies. Today, we are getting into the basics of marketing. Maybe you already know this. Maybe you need a refresher. If you do think you know this stuff, I hope you stick around anyways. I'm not the teacher. I'm the storyteller, so I'm sharing actual insights from an actual expert. What I did was sit down with my former marketing professor. He very graciously was not offended to my face when I started asking him for refreshers from his class. I'm sharing parts of that conversation today to get all of us on the same page. These ideas we talk about are going to come up again in the next episode, probably all of the episodes. I'm going to toss it over to interview Shelby in a second, but first, an introduction. You'll be hearing from Carlton Hawkins, and his experience goes back decades. He's currently the vice president of marketing for Parker & Sons. He's also an adjunct professor at ASU and GCU. Until April of this year, he was the director of marketing for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and only 4 months removed from his almost 5-year tenure, he still refers to the team as a we unit. So without further ado, worst resolution, Shelby, you may ask your questions. So starting off, can you tell me what is a demographic?
So demographics are the fact-based information about age, race, income level, those types of things to just understand how your demographic is going to be able to afford the product that you have and how that meets a need that they may have. So demographics are one part. The other part is psychographics, which is their, you know, what they do for fun, what their interest is, what their opinions are, and putting those together, you can actually build a whole persona of what people look like that are actually interested in your sport or product.
And how do these marketers identify those various age, like psychographics of what they do? How do they go about their research of gathering that?
It's usually about who's buying the product now, because you can see the propensity of people that purchase your product or your tickets have some similarities. So what you try to do is put them in different categories. So what we did at the Diamondbacks is we actually did a whole segmentation study of figuring out could we put them in different groupings and understanding those different types of groupings. We knew that our most loyal customers are their oldest customers. As I told you in many classes that we had, baseball fans that are really baseball fans and seam heads are older. They're usually over 55. They've been following the game for much of their life. They're higher income. They're have a tendency to be male, have a tendency to be white, and they're the biggest spenders on as a demographics. So we just look at who buys tickets, and we actually build out those personas and those segmentations that way.
And how many personas would a Major League Baseball team or any major team traditionally have that they are creating?
Well, usually it's about maybe 6 to 8. If you go higher than that, it actually becomes difficult to keep track of. So that's one of those things that we used to work on. Um, you can't categorize everybody. So you just take the look at where you can actually create categories. There's going to be people that are just price minded. They may not have anything that's similar, but they may be price. There may be people that need activities and love activities and just want to be in the know and really aren't baseball fans. So you put them in a category. So it just depends on the types of and where you're at as a market. So if I'm the Red Sox, I'm going to be totally different segmentation than I would for the Diamondbacks. Red Sox have this lineage of having, many people, many generations that are interested in it. We have a whole what is it, 30 plus years, so it's not as long, and it's kind of a transient market. So that's what we focus on. Mhm.
And then you talked about price being this motivator. So when marketers are thinking about their consumers, what are the motivations that they are anticipating and taking into consideration?
Well, what's interesting is motivations are just a love of the sport, and love watching it. As we're seeing with the World Cup, there's a lot more people in the United States that enjoy soccer or football, as we call it, than we expected. But what that love of the game, wanting to be somewhere to see something special, that is something that's a big motivator for people, and because they just don't want to miss out. FOMO is a big thing that you kind of play on. It's a motivation. It's a motivational thing that emotional trigger that I try to take advantage of because people wanted to be there. When we went to the World Series, we we could have charged almost anything for people to come in because they want to be part of that. If we became world champions, they want to be part of that. So that's one of the big motivation. The other thing is people love activities. They want to take their mind off of the everyday work. They've been fans of these sports forever. They just that's something to take their mind off of, being social, being with friends, those types of things. And then the latest one is gambling. Gambling is another motivator that increases people's interest in actually wanting to follow the sport, because people are gambling on it, makes it meaningful. I would say it's something that we're still digging into, but there seems to be some kind of corollary that actually the more people have a chance to gamble on something, the more they're wanting to pay attention to it, even if it's TV or in live.
There is a buyer's journey that you're looking at and considering. And
Mhm.
what does that look like, and how do you address it step by step? We've kind of gotten close to talking about it, but explicitly.
Yeah. Well, a buyer's journey is like if you're going after somebody that really enjoys going to games or really enjoys the different activities, like going to, you know, if I'm going Hispanic Heritage Night, I know that that customer enjoys us highlighting Hispanic heritage, which we do for a whole weekend. So we recognize DR, Puerto Rican, Argentinian, Colombian, all those different Venezuelan, all the different types of Hispanic customers. So what we try to do is build out this whole night or this whole weekend that we actually celebrate different groups. And we may have a concert after with a banda that we know appeals to most Hispanic customers. So they look at it and go, oh, it's Hispanic Heritage Night, Hispanic Heritage Weekend. They're offering a jersey that like looks like Team Mexico with Arizona on it. So they go, oh, I want that thing because it's part of my heritage and I enjoy the team. So they start to look at tickets that they want to buy, and then we have a post-game concert. So there's chances for them to be convinced along the way that they're going to be welcome there. It was kind of touch and go with the whole ICE situation and what's going to happen and whether there wasn't a should we do it. It just was what was the effect. And what's great with the Diamondbacks, and I thought that they did a good job as they have a Hispanic Heritage Council that they work with. So they have these leaders from different parts of the Hispanic community, to get ideas about what is honoring versus just, superficial. So that helped us do the right things. And so you have to be genuine, you have to be authentic, you have to offer something that highlights them, and then that allows them to purchase those tickets, come to the game, and enjoy it in this environment that may not exist at other games. We even had a time when we put a band in the bleachers that is just usual for Mexican games, in baseball games. So there's a band that plays in between all the time. So we did that. So these are the things that I think as they go through the journey, they want to know that it's meaningful, it's real, it's authentic. Then they click through and say they're interested, they want to buy. There's something that is special for them that is there, and they want to be there that night. And that's usually one of our sellouts in the season.
I want to go to that game.
It's in August, so yes. I
Great,
won't
I'll
be
put
there,
it in the
sorry.
calendar.
Yeah,
I'll
I have
put
no
it in the
tickets.
calendar. So you're targeting people, but you're also positioning yourself. So what are the different approaches to that? Are they the same?
Targeting is basically we always have when we're targeting, especially for like Hispanic. situations. We go to those big groups. We make sure that we have bilingual. All of our ads were bilingual. We also make it, important that we actually have Spanish broadcasting. Oscar is our play-by-play person, and he's amazing, and he's known throughout the community. He does broadcast in Mexico during the Mexican League too. So when we're targeting, we're trying to target people that enjoy the game, going after those large groups. So we go after Chicanos por la Casa. We talk to Arizona Hispanic Chamber. We talk to different groups, and then we have them come in, and they basically give us that type of target. And then we just try to advertise on Univision, Telemundo, a lot of Mexican radio stations. So those things, we actually advertise it along with the other games, but we really focus it on that. And then we have their DJs come out and introduce the band. Depending on where is Univision or Chicanos por la Casa, they come out and they become part of it. So we try to involve the community in that. So targeting that way, focusing our media buy on, groups that are high propensity to purchase this ticket. So I wouldn't buy Channel 3 or Fox. I would buy Univision or Telemundo to get that word out, and then we would target that group. For Pride, we work with four different alliance groups. We have a significant employee, when I used to work there, population that is part of that community. So outreach is not difficult. I'll put it that way. And so we build out that targeting, going after that group, doing special pieces. We actually took it from like a overall marketing to more of a group offer, and that seemed to be work much better because we were going after specific groups in the community. And it's pretty funny if you go to a Pride thing at Chase, you'll see even the vendors get into it. So they enjoy the night. They think it's really fun.
When it comes to, you talked a little bit about where you put the media space and what you put your buy money towards. What is the difference between a earned media and a owned media? And what are the different ways that marketers approach that messaging?
Well, when we do the earned media, that's actually building stories about how we're affecting the group. For Hispanic Heritage Weekend, we actually uh, we would honor certain parts of the community. We have the 40 under 40, and we also would do Lifetime Achievement Awards. So we would get some earned media for some of our media partners to do that. As far as our paid media, we targeted we spent most of our lion's share on digital media that we can target specific groups and target specific publications. So Edge Media was one of the media that we used. We partnered with them. We partnered with, uh, I think I forgot her name, a few different communities that we knew really well, and I can't think of them right off the top of my head, but we would actually target them and work with them on certain media. So that we never spent any mainstream money on Pride. We didn't need to. As soon as we got the word out, it was done. For Hispanic Heritage, we just need to make sure that people knew. And one of the most interesting things is they're both late buying crowds. So even if we thought, oh, that's not selling well, they both purchase within the week.
That makes sense. And then you talked about online buying space. How
Mhm.
has social media and the ability to kind of hyper segment who sees ads changed the marketing industry?
We would go after people that bought tickets to Pride Night. We would go after people that actually, so we have their information and we would send Facebook ads out to them. We would also go after friends of theirs because we knew that friends of theirs would be interested. So digital buy is actually more efficient for these types of nights just to get them interested. So that's how we would focus that process.
And then when it
Mhm.
comes to building a brand idea, what has that owned social media channels been like for teams? How has that grown and changed brand identities?
It is more targeted. So digital media has allowed us to be even more targeted. and not be wasteful with our spend, and also less controversial because you actually can target and get that message directly to people. I'm not saying it won't spill over to people, but that is it. Yeah.
Right.
Those are the two key things. Mhm.
Thanks, guys. That's not the last that you're going to hear from Carlton, but it is the end of this episode. I will see you all soon.